Hey everyone, this is Lisa from TRW, and in this video I'm going to show you how to have a pattern design without having to have patterned vinyl. So we are going to be taking advantage of the Modify panel in this video, and I'm going to show you how to do different tips and tricks to have a cool pattern inside of a shape. Alright, so here I am in Silhouette Studio. I'm going to open up my file here. Now this is from our Unicorn Clip Art pack, Mini Pack 1. So you can see that this has like an outline that sits on top of this background. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of that background. And then right here, what I'm looking for is I want the inside parts of my unicorn to be solid. So basically what I have to do is I need to change the lines. We have all the lines for the unicorn, but then we have this line to the outside, which converts it all to outline. So I'm going to right click on it, release compound path. Now you can see the fill is like filled in on everything. That's because each item is its own item, and I can click the outside and drag that out. So now I have my unicorn on the inside, and we do have inner parts, circles, and the eye. So if I grab everything here, you'll see my whole design is set up. I can right click, make compound path, and now it's all set up again. Now, if you're using a different object, let's say you're using a heart or a star or anything that's already filled in, you can totally skip this step. This is just something I want to throw in at the beginning, just in case you do have an outline. I wanted to show you that those shapes are still possible to have with this. Now, if you bring in something like a heart, anchor, whatever, then you can go ahead and start from here. So here's my shape right here. Now what we're going to do is I'm just going to be simple, and I'm going to do stripes for this. Now you can use whatever pattern you like. You can create one, you can trace a pattern, anything you like, but I'm going to keep it simple because I want to teach you how to fill it in with the shape. So the first step that we're going to do is we are going to create an offset to the inside of the shape. Now the reason why we're creating an offset is when we have a shape like this, you want to make sure there's a border around the whole edge so that the pattern is defined. Just so you guys know what I'm talking about, I'm going to go over and just make a copy of this and set it to the side because I'm going to show you later a comparison of them. So let's click our unicorn, let's go to our offset panel, and we're going to do internal offset. So make sure your unicorn is selected, click internal offset, and now I'm going to go ahead and type in a pretty small distance, 0.06. I hit enter to preview, so you'll see a tiny little line around the outside, and then hit apply. Now one thing to keep in mind is all these little sections of the unicorn are not touching, so when you create an offset they are considered separate items. So let me go ahead, fill this in so you can see what I'm talking about, and they all have a little box around them. So I'm going to take this, right click, make compound path, and so now I have it around there like that. So let's grab our original unicorn, let's move it to the side, we're going to use that later, and now let's make the pattern that will be knocked out in our unicorn. So I'm going to go to the rectangle tool, click it, and I'm just going to draw a long bar like this, and let me fill it in so you can see it. And so now we're going to go ahead and make copies of this to turn it basically into a stripe. So I'm going to stretch this out a little bit longer and then use this middle square to make it a little bit shorter too. And actually maybe a little bit wider now. So now I want to make a bunch of copies of this. So I'm going to hold down the Alt button on my keyboard, and you'll see that my mouse turns into a plus sign. Now I can make a quick duplicate, so I'm going to click and drag, and I'm just going to keep doing that over and over again until I have a bunch. I'm not worrying about the spacing, I'll get to that later. Alright, so I have all my lines set, so let's go ahead and bring this line down. So this line is going to designate how long my row of stripes are going to be. It'll make sense in just a second. So let's go ahead, select all my lines. So I'm going to go over right here to my transform panel. It's about halfway down under the A. Click on transform, and now we have our alignment and our spacing. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to align them. So I'm going to go off this middle one, align, and then we need to fix this spacing. So spacing takes the first item and the last item in the order that you're going, and it redistributes everything evenly between it. I need to redistribute these vertically. So let's go to spacing and do vertical. And so now you can see we have our little stripes in there. Now I think these are a little bit too close together, so when you want to fix that, you're just going to take one of the outside ones, drag it out a little bit, and then repeat the process. So I like that a little bit more. So let's take all of these and I want them to be treated together, and I want it to be one object. So let's right click, make compound path. So now this is just one big object, and it'll make designing a little bit easier, and we can go from there. So now what I want to do is I want my unicorn to come out of the stripes, but first I'm going to angle the stripes a little bit. So I'm going to click on my compound path, and you can see this little green dot shows up. That's for us to rotate. So I'm going to click and rotate this up so I have nice diagonal lines. And now let's take my unicorn, bring it over, and I'm just going to right click, bring to front. So now I have two options. I can take my stripes and just extend them like this, or I could just make my unicorn bigger as well. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep my stripes like that. So when you do this, just double check you want to have the edges of your design within the stripes. So what I mean by that is I want the end of my unicorn horn inside one of these stripes and the bottom as well. So now what I need to do is I need to take the parts of the stripes that are underneath the unicorn and keep them there. This is where we convert it over to a pattern. So make sure your unicorn is on top. Let's select both shapes, and we're going to go over to our modify panel in the right toolbar. So we have all of our modify options, and we're going to choose crop. So what we're doing is we're cropping the bottom shape to the top shape. So only parts of the bottom that have the unicorn on top of it are staying. So now it looks kind of funny. So what we're going to do is we're going to take it, right click, make compound path, and so there's our pattern unicorn. You can see it, but it looks a little bit off. So let's go ahead, bring our original back, and because this shape is made an offset off the original one, it's going to fit in there perfectly, so you can just use your arrows to rearrange it. And now we have one more step. We just need to convert this into one object again. So let's select both of these, right click, make compound path, and so now I have a cute little striped unicorn. Now if I were to do it right here, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go back a few steps because I want to get those stripes back. So I forgot to make a copy of them. Alright, so now I'm just going to hold down Alt to make a copy of these stripes. Let's get that out of there. Let's select both of these, crop, and now I'm just going to repeat this process again. So let's go ahead, make compound path, bring my original over here, so we're just using our arrows. Let's select both of these, right click, make compound path. So there is my cute pattern with the outline around it, and then let's go ahead and I'm going to show you the same thing just without having the outline. So let's bring this over, right click, bring to front. So now I'm just going to kind of check, keep this within the stripes. So let's bring it right there, select it, crop. So there is the one with the stripe. So it's really one extra step you do at the beginning, but you can really see the difference in there where you add that outline. So what it does is it adds definition around the whole thing, but also allows the pattern to shine through. And the great part is this is just one piece of vinyl, and so you can incorporate that into your designs without actually having to get patterned vinyl. So if you like this video, give us a thumbs up. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any more tutorials or videos, and comment below. Let us know any more videos you'd like to see and which unicorn you like best.